What's up, guys? Bill here. In this video, I'm going to be recapping a few trades I made today on SPY and QQQ. Starting with SPY, early in the morning here, we had our opening range set up. 15-minute opening range off these three candles. Opening range was sub $1, about 82 cents. Not a very big opening range, which I kind of like. Usually leads to better breakdowns and follow through once they happen. And what really caught my attention here was all the confluence we had at the bottom of the opening range. We also had this 429 positive GEX level. And then we had pre-market low with this big wick. Okay, so I really had some trust in this 429 that if it was going to break down and retest, it would be reliable. So how do I execute these orbs? I like to use the 10-minute chart or 10-minute time frame, and I'm looking for a 10-minute close. And if it's a little bit extended, which it kind of is here, about 30-ish cents, I want to be a little more picky than that, especially if I'm playing 0DT contracts. And thankfully, they gave us that nice little wick back up closer to my risk level, and I entered and got a quick, nice move down all the way to our next major GEX level at 427. Remember, guys, the red GEX are negative. They act as magnets. The positive GEX, green, they act as repellents. So once price got below here, it continued to be repelled by the positive GEX, and the negative GEX, the magnet, drew it down. Okay. Now, another cool caveat about these GEX levels is oftentimes when they're larger levels, and you get that big move to them, they snap back. And I've talked about this in the video too. Think about a rubber band that you've overstretched. Yeah, it pulls and pulls and pulls, but eventually thwack, and then you get a bounce. Okay, so these are doing what they're supposed to today, which is good. That was my first trade of the day. Then I had flipped over to QQQ because there was a long side trade I'd been wanting to take for a while. And just like that SPY trade from last week where I'd been looking at that 440 level with all those dark pools that had been sitting there, and I'd just been kind of patiently waiting and wanted to see that get swept for a long side trade, we have a similar situation here, but it's not with dark pools. It's just the chart. It's support and resistance at a swing low. So August 18th here on QQQ, you see this low that going back all the way to June was resistance that we ended up gapping over, running, coming back, retesting it. Go back to my support and resistance video and watch that. This is resistance turned into support. Now, I wanted to try to play it one more time here on this bounce and see if they could sweep these lows and get some liquidity to bounce off, maybe trigger some stop losses, things like that. And so we're going back to the 5-minute chart. And as you can see, and I told in the Discord, we've been watching this, and I mentioned I want to see just a little wick below. All right, so we wick below. I'm buying calls there. And boom, guys, look at that. Nice move, right? Scaling along the way at places that you deem important, always. Previous day's low is a nice spot. You know, you can pull up the EMAs. That's a nice scale spot. And even better is using those fibs, right? So we had a nice downtrend to start the day. We were kind of fighting the trend a little bit, but that's okay because we were getting in at a major level after a major move down, right? So I'm drawing that fib, and I want to make sure I'm scaling at the 50. And then, of course, that big 618, always taking a ton off. So I was out 90% of my position here, and I actually had runners. I set a break-even stop on that last 10%, and I went short again because I wanted to get back and play the trend. We were fighting it here a little bit off a major level I had high conviction on, which is fine, but I wanted to keep playing that trend. We had a nice move down. This is a lower high, and I wanted to see if we could, you know, at least get to low a day or make a lower low, and I got in on the 618, and this is not just your ordinary 618. This is something I like to call the glory hole, okay? This is an intraday imbalance inside the golden zone. So you can see here on the 15-minute, we created an imbalance, and you could draw it something like this, a bearish imbalance. And that bearish imbalance is right in the golden zone, and it fills right above the 618. This is picture perfect. This is a setup that I have created and coined the name of the glory hole. And it's something I'm going to be testing through the rest of the year. It doesn't happen a lot. Like days can go by. You're not going to get this setup. It's a little bit rare, but so far it's hit pretty much every time I've played it. And so I'm just going to do my research here, let some time go by, get up enough repetitions to really have the faith in it. But the 618 plays intraday like this have close to a 70% hit rate anyway, and that's that's requiring a $1 win in your direction before you get a 50-cent move against you. I back tested the entire year this year of that data to get that 70% win rate. So to me, that's fine on its own, but you add in the fact that there's now an FVG or imbalance in this golden zone here. That's even more reason to think that once we hit that 618 and fill that FVG, we're going to get some continuation back down. Now, we bounced that low a day, but a lot of times you're going to get that continuation through. This is just a major pivot on QQQ. So I had my runners on my calls. I just forgot about them. I stepped in puts here, and as you can see, another really nice move down. So those are the 3 major trades I took today on spying QQQs. I'm going to have some more videos in the future about the glory hole setup. I just need more time to test it, make sure it's legit, kind of nail down how I want to execute it and things like that, and make any notes I need so that when I present it, that, it can be the best version of the strategy as possible and help you guys out. Hopefully this video, you found it useful. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, find me on Twitter, and I'll help you out.